Hello everyone and welcome back to our stitch along. So we are still in the letter C, and what the book has is a number of combination stitches. So I've stitched my little combination label using my Razzle thread in the grey, and we're going to be stitching in today's session an apple blossom flower. And so the book suggests we draw a circle in the middle and then put some little point dots on for the tips of the petals, but I've just chosen to draw some petals on so we've got a sense of what we're stitching. The book suggests you use 2-ply crewel wool and some silk thread in a lighter colour, and a lighter wool, and then a yellowy brown for the centre of the flower. But we'll get to that as we go through. But we're starting off with a wool. I don't think this is a 2-ply, but it's what I had. It's just a vintage wool that I had on a little bobbin. So we're going to start by popping through where the centre is, just on the edge of the centre below the tip of the first petal. Then going to take our needle in at the tip of the petal, just go up a smidge higher, and bring it back down to where we have our thread. And we're going to draw it through and make our first stitch, and then we're going to do another stitch. We're going to do the same, except we're going to pop our needle under that first stitch and under the second one as we pull it down, and apparently that will help just give us a nice little plump petal. And then we're going to work a third stitch the same way. So just popping out that same spot, pulling it through and letting this one sit on the other side of the first stitch. And we'll just put our needle under as we do that. And then the book says to work 3 to 5 more stitches the same way. So just trying to pop up at the same point. Pull through, let the stitch pop down, trying to pop out at the same point, sometimes challenging. Just position this one so you're positioning them on the alternate side each time. I didn't pop my needle under to make it plump that time, but I think that's fine. And it says you can lay the last 3, or I guess the last, 1 stitch, depending on whether you're doing 3 to 5 over the centre. But I think I'll do 1 more on each side, and then we can always do one last one over the centre if we think it needs it. And again, let's just keep doing the trick that they suggest of putting the needle underneath as you pull it through to get a nice plump. So it does make a very nice little petal effect. So I think that's probably actually enough. I don't think I need another one there. So I'm going to take my needle back down to the back, and then we're going to pop up and do exactly the same again. So it's pretty straightforward, this little starting manoeuvre. So coming in from the edge, popping up where the needle is. Hope you're having a great day or a great evening. Actually didn't do that, did I? Probably the first stitch I don't think you need to pop the needle under. It's probably the latter ones where it helps. I'll just keep it a bit plump. So it's just, alternating the side that you lay your little bit of thread down on. So I'll put this one laid on that side. Just plump it out again. I think the wool helps to give it plumpness anyway, so not sure how essential it is to have the, oops, I'll just pass my thread under so it's under that way, and that can then lay to that side. Another one to the other side. And then I think just one more Well, do I even need one more on each side? I think I did. Yeah, I did do another one each, I think, on that first one. Lay that to that side and then one to the other side, and I think that will be quite nice. So yeah, the book suggests pink for this, but you could obviously make a different sort of flower if you wanted to. Then I'm just going to pop back into there and pop up at the next one. And then again, coming down from the tip, popping the needle back out where the thread is, and then repeating the procedure. Laying that one down on the other side. Oops, that one can go that side, and then we'll do one on the other side. I think it helps to have the thread on the side that you want the petal to go and lay down on, possibly. I'm not sure. And then we'll do one more stitch on each side. Where's that one going? That side, okay, and then one more on this side. Okay, and then back down. Popping up in the centre there, coming out from the outer edge and bringing the needle back. Yeah, I think the wool makes the petals plump enough without having to do that positioning of the needle, but that is a good little tip to have anyway for if you were using a thinner thread. It might be a good one to try. Positioning this one on this side. Sorry, my belly just made a growling sound, wanting dinner. Not quite yet dinner time, still stitching time. Position this one on the other side. And then one more each on each side, I think. Okay, and now onto the down back into the fabric. Lock that petal down, and now for the final petal. Hopefully we've got enough wool to do what we need to do. That one did pull that a bit tight, so I'm just going to loosen that up. Just have to pull my end. I think we're just going to make it 2 more stitches. Just give it a momentary loosening. Perfect. And then I'll take that back down. Great. And we can tie that off at the back. Do a little knot over the centre. even makes a nice little flower on the back as well. Okay, and so now we're going to do some straight stitches between the petals. Change to a yellow yarn and work a straight stitch between each petal, stitching from the centre to where the petals separate. Okay, so yellow, will I use... It's a very bright razzle-dazzle yellow. I'm not sure if I should use that one. Otherwise, I've got a little bit of... I'll use a little bit of my yellow Perle, DMC Perle, if I can find where the end starts, which could be a challenge. Ah, there we go. Have to wind that up properly when we're done. Won't need too much for this. Might even use a smaller needle for that, I think. So I'm not quite sure exactly what this is meant to kind of represent, but it does say, yeah, work a little stitch, straight stitch, stitching from the centre to where the petals separate. So it's not going to be a big stitch. Oops, let's pop up in the right spot. So I'll just stitch out to there. We are going to be adding some French knots to the centre, so yeah, probably won't matter too much. But we are following the book, so we will do it by the book. It's all just adding, I suppose, little details. Okay, and then it's wanting us to then do the petal tips and to do those in a light pink yarn. So I've got a variegated light pink wool. Okay, so now we're going to use a light pink yarn or wool to work a straight stitch and a fly stitch from this. So we're going to start with a straight stitch from the centre of the petal. So popping up halfway up the petal and taking it out to the tip. And then we're going to work a fly stitch around the tip. So popping out slightly to one side of the petal, but right next to it, and then popping our needle to the other side and popping it out at the tip of the flower. And then having our needle coming so we catch the thread like that, and then we'll anchor our fly stitch down at the tip of the petal. So again, I think it's just giving that little bit of accenting to the leaves. Not the leaves, the petals. All very delicate, all very sort of Japanese, isn't it, where it's all about the finer, smaller details. It's definitely not easy doing fly stitch in a hoop, but we can manage it. And it's funny, they're getting us to use fly stitch before we've actually got to fly stitch in the book. I thought they'd put maybe these combination stitches after they'd, included all the stitches. Oops, I just did my fly stitch first. Hopefully that won't matter. Come back and do my straight stitch after. So just doing my straight stitch because I skipped it. Yeah, I don't think it matters which order you do it in, but I'll do my straight stitch first this time. Oops, taking it round, making sure the thread is under the needle so you get that little loop, and then anchoring it down at the point and taking it back into the fabric, and then working round to our last one to work our little straight stitch and then our fly stitch. and anchoring down. Now it suggests that we use silk, work 3 straight stitches over petals for highlights. So they're suggesting we put 3 little straight stitches in the centre with a lightish coloured silk, but I think I'll just add some little accents using the wool. I don't think I need to change. Otherwise I'll keep you here all night just looking at the, yeah. So I might even just do a single little one accent, I think, just over the centre. Oops, pop that, do one there. So just a little stitch, but if you were doing multiple little ones with a finer one, you could just, yeah, put little ones coming out from the centre, just a tiny distance into the petal. I guess it's all just giving the effect of a sort of a 3-dimensional petal with light catching it. I think I missed one. Oh no, there's one there, one there, one there. Yeah, I think that's fine because we are going to be doing some French knots as well. It's quite thick on the back, quite padded with all the stitching. Okay, and then for the centre it says work French knots using blended yellow and brown yarn. So I thought I might use a bit of this razzle dazzle if I can find the end of the razzle dazzle. I think the end's actually on the other side. There we go. Won't need too much. Hopefully it's not too shiny for the centre. Okay, tie that nice and tight because it's quite slippy. So we'll just work some French knots. Again, the book hasn't actually covered French knots yet, but luckily we know about these. But if not, I'll show you. You take your needle, put it over the top of the thread, and then you wrap your thread. And you can do it as many times as you want. Probably for this, I think I'll just do little 2, or maybe actually 1 because it's quite a thick thread. So just 1 wrap, and then you angle your needle back in to the fabric and pull through, maintaining tension, and you'll just get a nice little knot. Yeah, I think just single ones will be perfect. I think it says doing about 5 or 6 in the centre. Oops. Felt like I was pushing into a knot or something, so I just had to reposition my needle. Fills up quite quickly when you do your little French knots. Oh, it's quite thick to pull through. Now where will I do my last little one? Maybe down here. If I can get the needle to pop out of the fabric where I want it. Yep. Oops. Pulling through. So there we go. That is our little, let me get rid of the bits of fluff. That's our little combination. Apple blossom flower. So yeah, I think it is quite sweet, and the little accents definitely look good. Just give it some nice coloration, and it's a really beautiful dimensional stitch. So yeah, definitely going to use that technique again. It's really lovely. It'd be lovely on a little branch. So I hope you enjoyed that, and we're going to move on tomorrow to combination stitch bud, which uses a combination of couching, whipping and straight stitch. And again, they're suggesting we use 2-ply crewel wool, and we'll need various shades. They're suggesting of pink wool and also some silk thread as well. But again, I think you can just use what you've got and yeah, learn the technique. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.